Nice that you are watching this video. In this video we continue about the album Midnights by Taylor Swift. Swift extensively used social media to promote Midnights. After the announcement at the MTV Video Music Awards, Swift's website and the canvases of her songs on Spotify were updated with images of a clock, using the video sharing platform TikTok. From September 21 to October 7, 2022, she released a 13-episode video series called Midnights Mayhem with Me, where she announced the title of each track in a randomized order per episode. In each episode, Swift rolled a lottery cage containing 13 ping-pong balls numbered from 1 to 13, each representing a track of the album. When a ball dropped out, she disclosed the title of the corresponding track through a telephone. On October 17, Swift posted on her social media an itinerary titled Midnights Manifest, which included promotional events she had planned. Swift partnered with Spotify to display some lyrics from Midnights on billboards in 5 cities: New York, London, Sao Paulo, Nashville, and Mexico City. Another partnership with Apple Fitness Plus included 3 exercise programs designed around Swift's music, featuring tracks from Midnights. Although Swift extensively promoted Midnights and announced multiple release pre-orders, she did not conduct press interviews or preview music prior to the album's release. Republic Records released Midnights on October 21, 2022. The standard edition was made available for streaming, download, cassette, 4 CD variants, and 4 vinyl LP variants. Target stores exclusively sold a Lavender edition on CD and vinyl LP, and Capital One distributed a box set that contained the CD and a Swift-branded T-shirt. The 3 AM edition was surprise released onto streaming and digital services 3 hours after the standard edition. From October 21 to 26, iHeartRadio aired a program called iHeartRadio Brings You Midnights with Taylor, which featured tracks from the album and stories behind the songs told by Swift herself. She appeared, but did not perform, on the talk shows The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon on October 24 and The Graham Norton Show on October 28. The lead single, Anti-Hero, was released on October 21, 2022. In the United States, it became the best-selling song of 2022 and made Swift the first artist to have a #1 song on the Radio Songs chart in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s decades. Bejeweled and Question were released for limited-time digital download exclusively through Swift's website on October 25. Republic Records released Lavender Haze to US radio as the second single on November 29, 2022, and Karma as the third on May 1, 2023. A remix of Karma, featuring the rapper Ice Spice, was released on May 26, 2023. On the Billboard Hot 100, Anti-Hero reached #1, and both Lavender Haze and Karma peaked at #2. The promotional rollout of Midnights received media commentary. Unterberger and Slate's Chris Molanphy described it as a middle ground between a traditional album rollout and the surprise release strategy of Folklore and Evermore. Molanphy argued that Midnights employed an optimal promotion for every consumption metric. The multiple CD and LP offers would boost physical sales. The limited-time download tracks would increase digital sales, and the surprise 3 AM edition release would prompt higher streams. The fact that there were no pre-release singles prompted speculation on the album's sound and content, and the TikTok video series prompted Swift's fans to interpret possible Easter eggs, heightening the anticipation for the album. To support Midnights and her other albums, Swift embarked on the Eras Tour, which she described as retrospective journey through her musical eras. Running from March 2023 to December 2024, the tour spanned 149 dates and visited 5 continents. It became the first concert tour to gross over $1 billion, totaling $2 billion. The highest grossing in history. During the run of the tour, a Till Dawn edition of Midnights containing the bonus track, Hits Different, was released to digital platforms. And a late night edition containing the bonus track, You're Losing Me, was sold as concert-exclusive merchandise starting from the East Rutherford show on May 26, 2023. Midnights was a commercial success across all consumption metrics: streaming, digital sales, and physical sales. It broke various records on music streaming platforms. On Spotify, Midnights broke records for the highest single-day streams and the highest single-week streams. It also claimed the highest single-day streams for a pop album and an album released in Dolby Atmos on Apple Music, the highest single-week streams for an album on Amazon Music, and the highest single-day requests on Amazon Alexa. All of its tracks entered the Billboard Global 200 simultaneously. It set the record for the most simultaneous top 10 entries and made Swift the first artist to occupy the entire top 5. In the United States, Midnights sold 1 million copies after 5 days of release, becoming Swift's record-extending 5th album to sell 1 million first-week copies. The album debuted atop the Billboard 200 with first-week units of 1.578 million, consisting of 1.14 million sales and 549.26 million streams. Swift had her record-extending 11th consecutive #1 album debut and tied with Barbra Streisand for the most #1 albums among women. It was the best-selling album of 2022, the second best-selling album of 2023, and the second most consumed album of both years. Swift became the first artist to have a yearly bestseller 6 times since Luminate tracked U.S. music sales in 1991. Midnights spent 6 weeks atop the Billboard 200. Its songs, led by Anti-Hero, made Swift the first artist to occupy the entire top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 the same week. All 20 tracks from the 3 a.m. edition charted in the top 45. Anti-Hero and Midnights marked the 4th time Swift had a #1 album and song simultaneously. The album was certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for surpassing 2 million U.S. units in November 2022, and had sold 2.814 million U.S. copies by January 2024. Midnights debuted at #1 on the album charts in at least 14 countries, including Belgium, Canada, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Ireland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, and Sweden. It was Swift's first #1 album in Germany and made her the best-selling foreign artist in China of 2022 after selling nearly 250,000 copies within 1 day. On the Australian charts, Midnights was Swift's 10th consecutive #1 album, and its tracks made her the first artist to have 9 songs on the top 10 of the singles chart the same week. In the United Kingdom, Midnights sold over 140,000 units in its first 3 days to become the fastest-selling album of 2022. It debuted atop the UK Albums Chart with 204,000 units, helping Swift achieve the shortest duration, 10 years, for a female act to accumulate 9 UK #1 albums. Midnights spent 5 weeks atop the UK Albums Chart. It sold 80,000 vinyl copies in 2022, the highest annual figure for an album in the 21st century, propelling total UK vinyl sales past CD sales for the first time since 1987. According to Universal Music Group, the album crossed 3 million album equivalent units in its first week and 6 million in 2 months. Bloomberg News reported that the album generated $230 million in sales for Universal in 2022, accounting for 3% of their annual revenue, the highest from any artist. The International Federation of the Phonographic Industry recognized Midnights as the second most consumed album of 2022. It ranked third in pure sales, first in vinyl sales, and fifth in streams. They named Swift the Global Recording Artist of 2022, which made her the first act to win the accolade 3 times, after 2014 and 2019. In the IFPI's 2023 report, Midnights was the year's 4th most consumed album, third in both streams and vinyl sales. The album received platinum or higher certifications in many countries, including double platinum in Canada and Poland, triple platinum in the United Kingdom and Australia, and 5 times platinum in New Zealand. Upon release, Midnights was met with widespread acclaim from music critics. On Metacritic, which assigns a normalized score out of 100 to ratings from mainstream publications, the album received a weighted mean score of 85 based on 28 reviews, indicating universal acclaim. The review aggregator site Any Decent Music compiled 29 reviews and gave Midnights an average of 8.0 out of 10, based on their assessment of the critical consensus. Swift's songwriting was a subject of praise. Alex Hopper in American Songwriter said Midnights displayed complex songwriting, and Alexis Petridis in The Guardian found it to be confident and contain a sure-footedness. Ken Tucker of NPR complimented Swift's composition using rhymes so tightly, so rigorously, that you wonder if she did it on purpose to mess with your mind. Some reviewers commented that her lyrics were more refined and inward. According to NME's Hannah Milrea, Spin's Bobby Olivier, and The Daily Telegraph's Neil McCormick, the album featured Swift's intimate personal narratives that delved deep into her state of mind. Hirsch commented that while the themes were a continuation of what Swift had explored, the album showcased a newfound maturity with serene acceptance. Michael Wood of the Los Angeles Times admired the storytelling lyrics and argued that they blurred the distinction between what's drawn directly from Swift's real life and what's not. Hopper and Light considered the narrative-driven songwriting on Midnights an influence of folklore and Evermore. The latter complemented Swift's ability to address a broad canvas of emotions that highlighted her mature perspective. For Clash's Matthew Neal, Midnights was a culmination of Swift's songcraft throughout past albums. Reactions to the production were somewhat polarized. Most were complimentary and deemed the sound tasteful. In laudatory reviews, Sheffield, Brittany Spanos from Rolling Stone, and Bilmes dubbed Midnights an instant classic. The lattermost called it the pop album of the year. Ryan and Quinn said the album was a demonstration of masterful musical structures and experimentation. The former wrote that Swift effortlessly combined her sharp lyricism with new musical elements. Von Pipp described the subdued production as elegant, while Johnston and Petridis regarded the sound as nuanced and restrained compared to the mainstream pop sound. McCormick dubbed the album a collection of clever pop songs, but said it suggested Swift's uncertainty about whether to proceed with intimate songcraft or a commercial juggernaut. Less enthusiastic reviews complained that Swift and Antonoff's collaboration led to conformity. John Caramanica of The New York Times, Chris Richards of The Washington Post and Paul Attard of Slant magazine deemed Midnights uninventive and too similar to Swift's past music. Moreland, Erlewine, and the line of best fits Paul Bridgewater agreed, but they complimented the album as cohesive. Powers appreciated some sonic experimentation that attempted to innovate Swift's first-person songwriting, but felt that it sometimes had a half-finished quality. For Carl Wilson of Slate and Spencer Kornhaber of The Atlantic, Midnights at first seemed dull but revealed texture and substance after multiple plays. Robert Christgau believed that this textural approach made it less tunefully defined than Swift's previous albums. Helen Brown of The Independent wrote that the subtle melodies took time to sink their claws in and brought a rich listening experience with feline vocal stealth and assured lyrical control. Will Hodgkinson of The Times said that despite some off-putting vocal treatments, Midnights was an appealing, old-fashioned singer-songwriter album with resonant songs. In the United States, Midnights won Album of the Year at the 2022 People's Choice Awards, Favorite Album at the 2023 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, Pop Album of the Year at the 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards, and Album of the Year at the 2023 MTV Video Music Awards, where the Midnight songs and videos helped Swift win 8 other awards, including Artist of the Year. At the 66th Annual Grammy Awards in 2024, Midnights won Best Pop Vocal Album and Album of the Year. It was Swift's 4th win for Album of the Year, making her the artist with the most wins in history. It also marked Swift's 6th nomination in that category and an all-time record for a female artist, tied with Barbra Streisand. Midnights won album awards at the NetEase Cloud Music Awards in China, the RTHK International Pop Poll Awards in Hong Kong, the Gold Disc Awards in Japan, the Phonogram Awards in Hungary, the Los 40 Music Awards in Spain, and the Danish Music Awards in Denmark. At the 2023 ARIA Music Awards in Australia, it helped Swift win Most Popular International Artist. It earned nominations at the Capricho Awards in Brazil, the Juno Awards in Canada, and the GAFA Awards in Denmark. Midnights received extensive press attention around its release. The Guardian's Laura Snapes commented that the album was likely to hang around longer than other superstar releases by Swift's contemporaries. She attributed this to Swift's popularity on streaming services and how she overturned the negative press to curate a positive public image since her 2017 album Reputation. In Fortune, Ashley Lutz argued that Swift's marketing strategy for Midnights proved she was a business and marketing genius, akin to the Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero franchise. For Snapes and Billboard's Katie Atkinson, Midnights came at a point when the public became invested in Swift's music after the critical success and re-evaluation she received with the 2020 albums Folklore and Evermore and the 2021 re-recordings of Fearless and Red. Publications said the album's commercial success attested to Swift's longevity in the music industry. According to Billboard, it was the only album in 2022 that succeeded evenly across every consumption metric, namely streaming, album sales, and song downloads. 5 Billboard journalists collectively agreed that Swift, upon Midnight's release, was the biggest pop star in the world right now, and YA deemed 2022 a year of all Taylor all the time. Molanphy argued that by employing savvy business tactics that tackled the constantly evolving chart rules, she broke previously unthinkable records by the likes of the Beatles and Drake, which was mind-blowing for a musician in the 17th year of her career. For The Guardian economics journalist Greg Jericho, it was an amazing feat that Swift remained culturally relevant 18 years into a recording career, a mark that surpassed the peak popularity of such musicians as the Rolling Stones, David Bowie, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and U2. Unterberger said the physical sales of Midnights were not seen in decades. And Anna Nicolaou in the Financial Times said they were unseen since the 1990s boy bands era, labeling Swift the last pop superstar. The music publisher Matt Pincus called Swift, basically an intellectual property franchise, a DC movie. Noting a 2021 article from the New York Times that asked, if Adele couldn't sell more than 1 million albums in a single week, could any artist? After her album 30 missed the mark. Rolling Stone's Ethan Millman responded that Swift has once again moved the goalposts regarding what the music industry can see as possible from a major pop star. Swift shared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon that she was astounded by the success. I'm feeling very overwhelmed by the fans' love for the record. I'm 32. So we're considered geriatric pop stars. Billboard commented in November 2022 that although the commercial success of Midnights was undisputable, the legacy of the album within catalog remains to be seen. Molanphy observed that when the initial reviews were out, few seem to think Midnights is Swift's very best album, and nobody seems to agree on what best or worst songs are. Within 1 year of its release, on the rankings of Swift's 10 studio albums, Midnights appeared 5th on NME and Entertainment Weekly and 6th on Paste, Spin, and Slant magazine. In an October 2023 article for The Guardian, Snapes dubbed the album Swift's first consolidation effort that signaled a more sustainable, experimental, adult kind of music career. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.